Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. 'Tis the season to get spooky. And how about some spooky sounding art music for your music classroom? I made a Spotify playlist of some Halloween classics and art music and a few fun pop and soundtrack pieces to round it out. There's stuff by Bach and Mozart and Tchaikovsky and Holst and Grieg. You know what I just noticed? That's a bunch of dead white dudes. Curses! So this happens a lot when we talk about the world of composers. We feature the deceased, the white, and most predominantly, the men. Well, doesn't that just mean that those groups of people created better music? No, devil's advocate, no. It just means that those group of people had an easier time getting their music played and known. I'm not saying it was effortless or that their music isn't excellent, but the world was ready to accept them as composer because they were in the right demographic. Whatever. So today I'm going to start a series of videos, once a month or so, where I feature an awesome female composer. Today's composer, Julia Wolfe. Julia is a New York-based American composer who's a graduate of Yale and the University of Michigan. Ew. I know, devil's advocate. I know. She's also a co-founder of the New York-based contemporary ensemble Bang on a Can, where much of her music is featured. Her contemporary style draws on rock, folk, and classical genres. It'd be easy to categorize Julia as a minimalist, a kind of music which is epitomized by paring down music elements and elaborating on them for a long time. In music, that could be a chord, or pattern, or rhythm that gets repeated for a long time before moving forward. In addition to this repetition, minimalistic music is often associated with bright timbres. This is very true of Julia Wolfe. In the words of the Wall Street Journal, Julia Wolfe has long inhabited a terrain of her own, a place where classical forms are recharged by the repetitive patterns of minimalism and the driving energy of rock. In her work, Big, Beautiful, Dark, and Scary, we hear a small ensemble of cello, bass, piano, percussion, electric guitar, and clarinet. But this small ensemble gives us a wall of minimalistic sound. Full textured harmonies slowly move up a half step at a time and are repeated to showcase both high energy but also an insistent impression upon the listener. This kind of stepwise pattern is called chromatic. While there's a sense of tonic, it differs from major and minor tonalities in that rather than only using certain notes on the keyboard, all are used. The half steps later come back down as though to challenge the listener to keep up on the assault. The string instruments utilize the idea of tremolo, where the bow quickly moves back and forth over the same pitch over and over again. This technique is often used in horror movies to keep the listener/watcher on edge. In Julia's piece, a listener is challenged not only to find the change in harmony, but to continue listening despite the anxiety that this piece elicits. The dynamics start at mezzo forte, or medium loud, and continue to crescendo, or get louder, as the half-step harmonies continue their attack on the listener. A perfect piece for the Halloween mood. Julia Wolfe. Alive and female. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. We'll talk about some more female composers in the future, but for now, a haiku. Minimalism with a touch of rock and folk. It's Julia Wolfe. Spotify playlist for Halloween in the doobly-doo. Enjoy! I'd rather not. Of course you wouldn't.